Hi, I'm Chris, and this video is designed to explain the notation in the Kamaj video series. The notation has 4 lines, and so they are not designed to sight read through them. Basically, Indian music is for listening and learning through listening, or learning through watching the motion of the hand. But the notation is there in case you're still confused after listening and still unable to figure out what I'm doing with my hand on the frets, so that you can check. So line 1 of the notation shows the skill level that's required for that particular phrase. Line 2 shows what are the notes that are going to be played, what is the sargam. Line 3 shows what notes will be played with a right hand da stroke. So that's a da stroke. And then line 4 shows where meend or slide or hammer on or pull off are required with the left hand to make the note sound. So the da stroke is fairly self-explanatory. If you see da, that means you strike it like this. But for the left hand, a slide looks like this. For a slide from sa to ga would be notated in the following manner. A hammer-on from ga to ma looks like this. I'm going to strike one da, and the second note, the note ma, will be hammered. Then I have 2 types of meend which I show. One type of meend from ga to ma, the same which we just did with the hammer-on, would be to strike on ga and bend up to ma. So that's a strike the note, then bend up to the next note. Now sometimes I write the first note ga with a small letter, and that indicates that I want to go up to the ma quickly, almost not hearing the ga at all. Then there's a second type of meend, and that's when you actually bend up to a note without striking here yet, and then strike the note above and release down. Like dha pa, for example. Now when you do that quickly, it's called gamak, because you'd hardly hear the note above. You mostly want to hear that pa. So dha pa, the dha would be written very small, and then the pa would be written big. And that's gamak, and you have to get the balance with your right hand stroke and where you're coming down, so that you don't hear too much dha, and you also don't hear only pa, but you hear the sound of the bend. Then we have pull off, and pull off is where you take your middle finger, you strike, and then you pull your middle finger off, as in ga, re, sa. So if I strike on the re, I snap off to the position where my first finger is waiting to play that sa. And that is indicated by P-O for pull off. And finally we have combined techniques where you're going to go from ga to high sa. You can't bend that the whole way, so you do a partial slide and partial bend. So that would be called slide meend. And you can also do that partial hammer-on meend, where you would go and so there are various different combined techniques: slide combined with hammer-on, slide combined with meend. Try to learn this alap by listening and by watching my hand motion, and use the notation only when you're still confused, and hopefully the notation will help to clear up some of those questions that you might have.